So what we might notice, as I said, is as we do this exercise, we might not be able to feel the subtle movement very easily of the pelvic floor expanding and contracting. And this is probably because it is tight. It's most likely that the pelvic muscle is not in a relaxed state, as I said, because we are holding this tension without really realizing it. So breathing into this area, and it's okay if you feel the connection or not, either way, just observing. And now I would love for us to connect deeper to the practice by exaggerating the movements a little bit more. So as we breathe in and feel our belly totally fill up with air with one hand, we push downwards in the pelvic floor area, pushing down and allowing that whole area to create expansion. And then as our breath goes out and our belly goes in, we feel the whole area, including the pelvic floor, contracting. And we pull up the pelvic floor as it contracts. So breathing in and pushing out the pelvic floor area, all the way to the top of the breath. And then releasing the breath out and pulling up the muscle. So again, just maybe make 5 deep breaths in your own pace, feeling into the muscles, feeling how your body is naturally flowing together. So just allowing ourselves to be aware of our body, aware of this muscle group, and allowing ourselves to relax into our natural movements, which might be, as I said, it might be comfortable for some or not for others. So this is just the first part of the practice as a beginner, and there are many different parts of the pelvic floor muscle. So you, in your own time, I invite you to experiment a little bit with the different kind of effect that you can create, but always taking it very gently. So it's not only a up and down movement, there's different sections that you can isolate, but you can just play around with this and see what happens with your breath naturally and see how your body naturally reacts. And we can practice this during the everyday to strengthen. For women, a really beautiful practice is with the yoni egg as well to help strengthen this area. So we can practice during every day, and we can also take this into our lovemaking. So using the breath and using our connection and feeling to this muscle group will help us cultivate a deeper connection to the sexual experience and help us to be able to guide our own energy. So you can practice with a partner. You can also bring it into your self-pleasure practices. So that's just to give you a rough outline of the pelvic floor, and Alexander's going to show you some more practices, a little bit more detail.
Okay, thank you, Rikalia. Let me share my screen, and I guess now you can all see. This is still in Slovene. I don't have English version yet, so those who don't understand Slovene can send me an email later, and I'll translate and you'll get the English version. Yeah, so Rikalia took the introduction into this. Now we will do the actual exercises like in level 1. Stopnyayana means level 1. And we'll just all go together. If you can see me, I will show you how I'm squeezing my muscles that you cannot see, but you can see my palm. So let's go like this. We do 10 squeezes slow. And don't forget to breathe while you are squeezing your muscles. I suggest you put one palm on your perineal muscles so you can feel them squeezing. Okay, now let's go. Let's start squeezing them. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm squeezing also my PC muscles, and I'm doing with my hand just to show you how it goes, this first line. 10. Okay. I guess everybody heard about this Kegel exercise, but now we will do the reverse Kegel 10 times. Reverse Kegel is you don't squeeze the muscle, but you stretch, which means in your belly, you do the same movement as if you want to go to pee or if you want to go to poo, which means you push out. Before we were squeezing muscles and lifting the pelvic floor, now we are pushing out. And this is really good for the muscles to regenerate. You know, like when you go to fitness, first you do like this, and then you stretch out to help regenerate the muscle. Same we do with these muscles. So 10 times we try to push out like we want to make shit or like we want to pee. Like push out. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. And now we go to the third part, which says for 3 seconds you hold it. You hold it. You hold it. 3 seconds, then release, and you rest for 5 seconds. While resting, you can just rest, or you can even do the reverse Kegel, which means pushing out, whatever feels more pleasant for your muscles. As you can see, a lot of rest is necessary, because if you are just squeezing your muscles all the time, the muscles will become tense and will not be flexible, which is not good for the sexual energy to flow from your sexual organs into your body. Okay, now we also did the 10 seconds of pause so that the muscles can relax. And now we do the last one, which can be the most difficult one, which is 10 times quickly squeeze like it. Okay. Maybe you're not able to do it so fast with your PC muscles. Doesn't matter. You go as fast as you can, but please respect your muscles. If you feel they are tired, don't think that the more you do the exercises, the better results will be. The muscles, they need progressive advancement, and they also need a lot of rest. Okay. Is there any question so far? If there's any question, raise your hands or put in the chat. Okay, if there are no questions, we'll continue. I would say that if you remember one thing that is the most important from this meeting tonight, is that you slow down while lovemaking. This is what helped me the most. Always when I made love, I remembered okay, go half as fast and half as wild as your urge tells you. This helps us men, first of all, not to have premature ejaculation. And women, if they go slower, and men as well, we feel much more. Because our goal in lovemaking is to work less and feel more, which means to get a better result for less work. In Slovenia, we say that this is the Montenegrin way, because in Montenegro, they don't like to work too much, but they want to get good result. And we can also say that this is an intelligent way, because what you see in porno movies, you see a lot of work, a lot of friction, and you can see by their bodily expressions that they don't really feel much pleasure. And we don't want this. We want to embrace our beloved, and just by breathing and being there, feel the orgasmic energy. That's where we are aiming. But to be able to shift from this porn-oriented sex to tantric sex or sensual lovemaking, we need to make our bodies capable of experiencing the pleasure. Because I guess we would all agree that we want to experience pleasure, but then during lovemaking, we just go higher, 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 and sometimes after a few minutes, we just explode and the unpleasant emptiness comes. And this is what is called local orgasm or superficial orgasm, comparing to whole body orgasm or deep orgasm. That's what we are all yearning for. And what I discovered in my own practice, what gave me best results, I can say, is two things. One thing is certain kind of meditation that helps me circulate the energy, because I also get crazy and wild when I'm making love to my wife, and I also feel the energy is building up in my sexual region. And if I'm not able to circulate with this energy all around my body, then I just get ejaculation, because there is too much pressure in the sexual part of the body, and the body, even for the safety reasons, says, let's explode, let's expel this energy so that nothing is damaged. Because if we don't know how to circulate with this energy, and if we keep getting horny, and if we keep getting sexually aroused, then too much energy might build around prostate for men, for example, and you can experience pain there. That's why I want to show you now, by sharing the screen, this meditation, or maybe even better, in the chat, I will put a link, and you can click this link and you will see what kind of meditation I want to present you. So I want everybody to click on this link, and you should see energy going up and then around going down. This is how I find the best and the most effective meditation during lovemaking, which means with breathing, I'm lifting the energy to like 1 meter above me, and then allowing, by relaxing myself, the energy to go down. And then again, I inhale the energy up, and I feel and visualize the column of like 1 meter column going 1 meter above me, going around me, going down, and then again. And what I do in this meditation is all the time I am lifting up the energy and then just relaxing. Because I remember once I asked my tantric teacher in Thailand, I said, what is the secret of not having premature ejaculation and enjoying the sex and having full body orgasm. And all she said was to relax. And I was really pissed off with her. I said, oh, come on, I came to Thailand and now you tell me all I have to do is to relax. But the more I go, the more I see that this is the truth. We need to be relaxed while making love. And then we discovered that our bodies are made perfectly, that we don't need to learn so much. Maybe we just need to unlearn a lot, unlearn to think too much, unlearn to be focused on orgasm, unlearn to experience what we think we should experience, or what friends said, or what porn movie showed. So let's do this meditation now. Again, this image, this animation is just for you to get the feel how it is. But now let's close our eyes, and with inhalation, let's inhale the energy from our sexual organs up to the heart and even higher to our crown chakra. And then just relax, like, ah. And inhale. Relax. Inhale again from sexual region through the heart to crown chakra. And relax. And we need to practice this. I practice this when I do my meditation by myself, and I practice this when I'm making love. And maybe you notice me that when I relax with a sound, like saying, ah. I'm sure for many people, this can be very awkward to make sound. But through sound, a lot of energy can go, can travel, and can be relaxed. So even now, if you can make a sound, please try to do it. If not, do it when you feel safe to do it. Again, we focus with the inhalation. We lift the energy up. With exhalation, we just relax, let the energy flow. And when you do the next inhalation, try to squeeze the pelvic floor muscles as well. Okay. I hope you got the idea how to do this meditation, how to practice it. How I practice it is, when I have enough time, I do it 108 times, which takes me around 20 minutes. Usually when I'm too busy, I just go to 33 times, which is something like 8 to 10 minutes. But it's good to keep a regular practice so your nervous system and your body gets familiar with this. Because if you are not trained, then in the fire of passion of lovemaking, you just cannot focus on this, and the energy just goes all around, and then men have premature ejaculation and women can have just a superficial clitorical orgasm. If there's any question, again, you can put it in the chat or you can raise your hand. So the second thing that I feel helped me a lot, allowing my body to circulate the energy, was taking care of my body to be flexible, especially my hips and my legs. This means the lower part of my body. I found great improvement in how sexual energy was flowing in my body by making my body more flexible. This means or doing yoga or doing gentle but regular stretching so that you are flexible. And doesn't matter how much, it matters that you do it and that you progress slowly. So that's why I would say that yoga and meditation really helps you to have good sex. Let's have Rikalia jump in here.
Yeah, I just wanted to quickly circle back to pleasure and orgasm, and also from the woman's perspective, because I feel like it's so relevant for all of us, and a lot of people very interested in that aspect specifically. So yeah, Alexander was briefly saying about these superficial clitoral orgasms, and I guess most or all of us are aware of the different types of orgasms that we can have, at least roughly. So systems like Taoism explain it in the sense of a tiered system. So the clitoral area being the lowest level, and then the deeper you go, so then you move to the G-spot, and then you move up to the cervix. The deeper your experience of pleasure, the deeper you're able to surrender, and overall the deeper you're able to go inside of yourself. So this also correlates really well to the Western findings and Western perspective, when we look at the nerves and how it is connected to the rest of our body. So around the clitoris, this is very isolated area and very superficial. And as we move towards this G-spot area, this is the pelvic nerve, and this is still pretty localized, but getting a little bit deeper. And then when we move to the cervix, this is connected to our vagus nerve, which some of you will already know. It travels all the way up our throat, up to the crown of our head. And I think that this in itself, when we can understand it in these terms, it already makes so much sense. And it describes what a huge difference there is between these different experiences. And unfortunately, a lot of women are getting stuck on this first level of this superficial clitoral orgasm. And it's kind of a problem, because to me, I feel like there's really two different things that can happen when we are using our sexual energy. So either we are cultivating this deep, intense energy and then allowing it to leak out, or we are cultivating it and allowing it to circulate through our whole body. And for women, when we stay with this superficial clitoral orgasm, it's very small and very fragile muscle, and it doesn't really have the ability to hold the pleasure. And so this is why when we go there, it's actually just allowing the pleasure to leak out, and we're not able to get that depth of experience with the others. And yeah, so I just wanted to put that in there, and then also relate it back to the pelvic floor exercises, because what we can do, what we can keep the intention on, is using the pelvic floor and using this contracting and expanding and the squeezing and the connection to our breath and the connection to our whole bodily processes and feeling them very deeply. We can learn to gradually move the energy and circulate it to be moving all the way up, like the spine and the front. And yeah, this is something that can really change the experience. Yeah. You want to say more?
Okay. Yeah, I'll keep repeating a few simple things that you can do to improve your lovemaking, because we do want you tonight to come out with some things that you can do in practice to improve your lovemaking, improve your capability of experiencing pleasure. But please keep in mind that these things take time, they take practice, because everything that you do for the deeper parts of the body, it takes repetition, it takes constant reminding. And as I already said, the first and most important thing is slow down when you are self-pleasuring or masturbating, or when you are making love. Slow down and feel. Feel what is there, what you feel in your body, and forget about what you want to feel. Just feel what you feel. Because usually, I remember my early days of lovemaking, I went to bed with a woman and I had my idea how sex looks like, how it should be, how I should move, how I should feel, how she should respond. And if it wasn't like this, I felt I'm a bad lover. But actually, I realized I was not even authentic. I was not even present. I was just trying to recreate a movie or a story that I thought sex was. And lovemaking can be something totally different. Can be just a couple in embrace and crying and just feeling those emotions in that moment. Or lovemaking can be very wild, animalistic sex. And nothing's wrong with this, especially if there is love beneath this.
You see there's a question.
Oh yeah, there's some questions. Yeah, let me first finish this part, and then we will go and address these questions. So feel what you feel. Next thing I wanted to say is engage the whole body, not just the sexual organs. Because again, when we are making love, usually it's just lingam and yoni, or penis and vagina, like doing the movement, and the rest is just waiting for the results and for the orgasm. But actually our whole body should be making love, and we should be experiencing sexual energy with our whole bodies. Because in our lives, we keep all the problems just in head. In our sex, we keep all the sex just in sexual organs. And this doesn't work. We should embrace the problems feeling with the whole body. We should embrace lovemaking with the whole body. Then things can flow. Otherwise, we just get pressure. We just get headache, or we just get ejaculation or superficial orgasms. Maybe one important thing to remember in Tantra is that there is like some sort of holy trinity. This holy trinity is breath, movement, and sound, which means it's practically impossible to reach deeper orgasmic states if you, first of all, are not moving your whole body. For example, when we are masturbating, usually we're just moving our hand, and that brings us like very superficial pleasures. So movement, breath. Why is breath so important? Because when we are breathing, many things happen. For example, breathing makes the energy flow through the body. Breathing connects the spirit to the flesh. Breathing in Indian tradition connects Shiva and Shakti. Shiva as spirit, Shakti as energy and body. And if we are breathing just in our upper part, shallow breathing, then again, not the whole body is engaged, and you cannot experience whole body orgasm. And then sound. you know how naturally it is to make sound when you feel pleasure, or you say, or you scream, or you yell, whatever you feel, it's very good to express through the sound. Animals and children do this normally. When they are hurt, they scream. When we are hurt, we just try to be normal, and we suffocate the pain, we block the reaction. And then we expect us to experience good sex. Doesn't work. So next time you are making love, go slow and try to see if you are moving your whole body, if you are breathing into your belly, and if you are making sounds. To make sounds is also very good communication between partners, because if your partner is quiet while lovemaking, you have no idea if the partner is okay, if he's enjoying what is happening. Through this sound, there's like another layer of connection. Okay. And there's one more thing that I briefly touched. We always think that lovemaking means, like in the movies, just bliss and orgasms and everything. But your lovemaking should be your most safe space where you can show your most vulnerable feelings, which means sometimes when you just go to cuddle, you can cry, or you can say, oh, I'm really depressed right now, or I'm really angry, or I'm really feeling lonely. Whatever feelings come, and they can come in the beginning, or they can come while lovemaking. And usually we try to push them away. But please remember, lovemaking should be the safe, sacred space where healing takes place. It's not the space where you should be normal and where you should be like the society tells us to be. And these emotions can come also after lovemaking, which means body got a lot of energy through lovemaking, and then the body used this energy to get some unresolved things from our subconsciousness into consciousness with the intention to heal them. It's not very pleasant, and more you resist them, more sufferance you get. But if you just say, okay, these are some old memories, some old traumas coming to be integrated in my body, let's just go through it. This is also part of lovemaking. I guess like 90% of my lovemaking is just enjoying and having bliss and having a regeneration and recharging. But 10% is like bringing up some things, and like maybe during or after lovemaking, I can feel funny. And this is okay. It's good to allow ourselves to feel what we feel. Okay, Ricardo, did you want to address the question?
Yeah, I saw there is a question. I can't really see the name clearly, but you're saying, what is the clitoral orgasm good for? What is the G-spot orgasm good for? The cervical orgasm good for? Like when to use and to do what? And I find this a really good question, really beautiful. And I think there's a few different ways to approach it. So you may or may not know that inside the reproductive organs, there's also a reflexology anatomy point. And so, for example, around the area of the G-spot, I think it's close enough to the liver point and to these kind of areas. And those of you who already know about the relation of emotions and organs will know that Okay, Sylvia, yeah, that's okay. Yeah, most of you will know that the liver is related to our emotions of anger. And what I find sometimes is when this like G spot area is being stimulated, it might bring up feelings of anger that I didn't know were there, but were waiting to be there. Yeah, so this is the chart showing it really well. So each organ has a different association with a different emotion, and it so beautifully helps us move the energy along. So in that sense, I would say that's what I would use it for. And also, obviously, yeah, the cervix is at the heart point, and so physically connecting to this point, as well as having a cervical orgasm, which might not necessarily mean actual physical contact with the cervix, is very heart opening, and it goes together both ways. So for women, it's really, really essential that our heart is able to be open for us to be able to go deeply. So they really go together. And this is actually another point that it's very important for the women to have the heart open, also for the man, but usually it's the opposite way around. So the woman needs to already feel safe to be vulnerable in her heart before she's able to open up in the sexual way. And for a man, it's kind of the opposite usually. And in terms of clitoral orgasm, like I said, they are pretty superficial. It's not even really on this chart for the reflexology. The clitoral, it does help to stimulate arousal. So like some people have a lot of different ideas. So some people will really enjoy that sensation, and that's okay, and others will kind of shame the clitoral orgasm. But it's, yeah, I would say that's what it does. Like it's something for pure pleasure. You know, I invite you to explore what feels good, and it can also be used as some kind of to rev up the engine, if that makes sense, to get the arousal stimulation flowing, but maybe just don't push it over the edge, because like I said, it's very fragile and it can't hold all of the power of this sexual energy explosion of an orgasm. Yeah, I hope that answers it from my perspective. And maybe you want to speak about there's another question. I can also.
Yeah, there's another question, but I think we already answered this question from Luka Brinovic. I checked it. So we can go on. And another thing I would like to say, we all want to have good sex, but I say it's never a problem in sex. It's always problem in relationship. If the sex is not okay, then there's a problem or in relationship with yourself or with someone else. For example, if my woman is feeling really welcome, safe, and loved, lovemaking is way different. We don't need to do much. We just need to hug or just move slowly with penetration or without penetration, and we feel a lot. But if there is like a small resentment, it can block everything. The woman cannot open totally, and men as well. So this is why taking care of the relationship is really important, and communication between the two of you or the three of you if you're in a threesome. We don't judge here. Here I wanted to mention also about this. I experienced many times a lot of sexual attraction to a woman, and we made wild sex, and then emotions came up, but we did not create a safe space in our relationship, which means it's not enough if we are connected just sexually. We need to be connected also on our heart level. We need to trust each other. We need to feel safe with each other. If that's not there, then a lot of sexual energy can bring you to a very unstable place. So it's always good to invest in communication and conflict resolution. Another thing that I discovered in all these years is that at first I always felt sexual energy just as like some sort of arousal and some sort of urge to get this local orgasm, the release. And then I felt, oh, this was beautiful for a few seconds, but now there is a funny emptiness and I don't really enjoy it. But in recent years, I discovered that there's at least two options. One option is, the second option that I like is that I feel relaxed and full of sexual energy with my whole body. And I don't want to go anywhere. I don't want to change. I don't want to come. I don't want to orgasm because I'm already in orgasmic state. And this requires relaxation. This requires me to be relaxed in my body so that all this energy can flow. So that's why this meditation is also so important, so that we can observe ourselves and gradually through the weeks, months, and years make progress in being more and more relaxed. Relaxed and without shame and guilt. Because in my case, and I guess in most cases of people, shame and guilt are the biggest thing that is making sex way less than it can be. Where this comes from, it doesn't matter, but what matters is that you allow to transform this by experience it. Okay. Are there any questions?
No.
Okay, so if there are no questions, we would like to gently invite you to our workshop that we are having end of June, which is a 3-day retreat where we will go way deeper into these things, because we tried to give you here whatever we can give you in an hour through Zoom. And I hope you got some nice ideas what you can do in practice. In the retreat, we will go way deeper with doing actual exercise together, these that we did and many others. And we will learn also the art of Tantric massage, which can teach us a lot about how to touch our bodies and other bodies, how to express our desires, how to express our boundaries. So
Chat. Question about whole body orgasm.
Oh yeah, that's a good question. I cannot imagine whole body orgasm. Yeah, it's not possible to describe whole body orgasm because there's so many flavors of whole body orgasms, but usually you feel with the whole body, you feel like you are stoned. You feel like some sort of bliss that just keeps going on like for 15 minutes or half an hour and then slowly goes down. It's pretty similar to being stoned. Comparing to normal superficial orgasm where you have explosion for just a few seconds and then emptiness. I hope that's a nice description of whole body orgasm. Would you add something to this, Ricardia?
Yeah, so obviously the difference with whole body orgasm is that one is really localized and the other is not. And like I was explaining with the structure of the nerves and the different areas, you know, the different areas like the G-spot and the cervix that allow the stimulation to come all the way up into your body. I was just going to give some advice, which is how we already touched on, like to already be in a state of total surrender, total feeling of safety. So this is the first step to be in, to be able to allow that. And then to just really gently invite it. You don't have to think about the whole body all in one go, because it might seem really incomprehensible if you're trying to imagine it. But maybe just approach it with some kind of curiosity, really gentle curiosity with your body. So if you already know what it feels like to feel that orgasmic localized state, then before you push it over the edge, just kind of gently tease it up using again the breath and the pelvic floor exercises, and just playfully and just allowingly. But if you start to have these expectations and you want to make a jump, and that's your objective, to go from not really having any experience or idea about what it feels like to suddenly wanting that, is going to put a lot of pressure on yourself. So yeah, I would also focus on your self pleasure. So getting yourself into that state, and then with this intention of curiosity and allowing it, and use visualization if that helps, and just ask your body, what would it feel like if the pleasure was to reach further into my body? What would it feel like in this area, in that area? And that's going to help imagine it more.
Yeah, I would say another thing about the whole body orgasm. This is something you cannot force. This is not something you can do like, oh, my project is to reach whole body orgasm and I'm gonna do it and nothing can stop me. You can do this with a superficial orgasm, women with clitoris and men with lingam, because you probably know that anatomically clitoris is same as lingam. It's not developed lingam, or lingam is penis. And you can just not force the whole body orgasm, but you can prepare space for the whole body orgasm to come, which is more of a feminine approach. Like, you surrender to it, you let go, you relax, you don't force it, you don't push it. Because some things in life need pushing, need masculine energy. Like in business, in sport, you cannot just surrender to it. But in magic, in lovemaking, in prayer, in dance, you just need to surrender to this higher force. And that's how I see also this whole body orgasm. And sometimes I just need to admit to myself, oh, today I'm not feeling it, and I just don't want to go, or I don't want to push in that direction because I feel I'm somewhere else. I'm not always open to whole body orgasms. Okay. So shall we conclude then? Okay. So then, thank you very much for coming. I hope you got something valuable out of this. And I wish you good practice. As Rikalia said, self-pleasuring is very important, and that's the first step before doing lovemaking in couple. Okay, thank you very much, and I wish you a pleasant night. Bye-bye.